Good evening, everyone. So nice to see so many faces in here this evening. I am going to call the meeting to order. This is the Board of Commissioners meeting Wednesday, June 5th, 2024 at 6 o'clock p.m. So the meeting is now called to order. Our first order of business is I would like to have a moment of silent meditation. Thank you. The next order of business is please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I would entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second? All right. Any modifications, changes? No? All right then. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have a motion, a second, and approval of the agenda. The next thing we need to do is to approve the consent agenda. We've got two approvals. One is the minutes for the regular meeting on May 1st, 2024, and the second is approval of minutes for the budget workshop meeting on May 15th, 2024. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, excuse me, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The consent agenda with the two items are approved unanimously. The next item of business on our agenda is the public comment period. And I know we've got some folks here to speak for that, but let me just read the rules that we have for it. And that is members of the public are invited to address the Board of Commissioners on any topic. Public comment is not intended to require the board to answer any impromptu questions or take any action on items brought up during this period. Speakers will address all the comments to the board as a whole and not one individual. Discussions between speakers and members of the audience will not be allowed. Time limits are 3 minutes per person or 5 minutes per group. Please come forward to the lectern and identify yourself so your statements can be recorded. So, anyone in the audience who wishes to speak? Oops. There you go. I'm sure Bibi understands completely.
Good evening.
Give your name.
My name is Skyla Lamberto Egan, and I live down on Sir Walter Raleigh, and I would like to talk to the board about adding a fence, a latchable, gateable fence to the downtown park, down on the waterfront. I'm a new parent recently, and I walk down there a lot with my friends and their kids, and we go down for all the events that the town holds, which are wonderful. But it's now that it's more in my forefront of my brain, I've noticed that, it's right on the water and it's right on that parking lot there that's very active and one of the busiest sections of town. And she's not mobile yet, but it won't be too long, and it would be really nice to be able to take her to the playground there, which is wonderful to have in town. And pay attention, but also be able to breathe a little bit easier, knowing that she's somewhat contained and not going to crawl off the dock or, get out of my eyesight or arm length reach into the parking lot. Because they're fast, they're quick when they're little. And I gave every member of the board a write-up that's a little more detailed of my thoughts on that, on kind of the area that it could surround, and some more reasoning behind my idea of putting a fence around there. No. And then I also I just kind of came up with this recently, and in the last week was able to get a handful of signatures just from local parents, mostly, and grandparents who thought it was also a good idea. So I know the fiscal year is the budget's probably already set for this coming year, but maybe they can be added to your agenda to be discussed and added in for next year. That would be appreciated. So.
Thank you, Skyla and Sloan. Thank you so much. And we will turn this over to Melissa. I'm sure she can do some research for us, how we might be able to figure this out.
Great. Yeah, and if anything else is needed on my part, I know multiple board members have my contact info, which I think I left off of there accidentally. But feel free to reach out, and I'm happy to discuss it more, meet up, and go over whatever your thoughts are.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate you bringing this up. I'm sure a lot of people have concerns. So, all right. Okay, bye.
Phoebe Woody, right now, White Doe Inn. I have a couple of things I wanted to address the board on. First of all, I wanted to say, and I've been meaning to come sooner, but haven't. I am so proud to be a citizen of this town and of our commissioners and the leadership and the staff of our town. I have seen so many great things that are happening. And even though I may be moving outside of town, Manteo will always be in my heart. So I come to you tonight to share with you the fact that the White Doe Inn will now be changing hands, and Dave and Tanya Roberts are here with me tonight, and I am so excited that they are going to be the new owners of the White Doe Inn. They come with the passion, the excitement, and the love that we started with 30-some years ago. And I couldn't ask for more than that. I won't be very far away, but, and I'll still be pestering you every now and then. But I would like to invite them up to say just a few words to you. And then maybe afterwards, if you have the time, you can take the time to say a few words with them and see where they're going. So, Dave and Tanya.
It's been such a pleasure getting to know Manteo through BB. BB and I have been working together since about February, just in a way that we couldn't be more excited. We're excited to carry on the tradition that Bob and BB created in the inn. We tend to celebrate them at the end. We're having a portrait done with the four of us on Monday, and we intend to feature that prominently. And in the same way we talk about that being the Meekins house, it'll always be the house that or the inn that Bob and BB built. And so we're high school sweethearts, married 34 years. My wife is a trained chef. I'm something of a jack of all trades, I suppose. This is her dream. We recently retired and chose to pursue this dream, and I guess, is there anything you'd like to share?
I think we're just excited to come to the town of Manteo. I think, when I first saw the town, I thought this is where we should be, and we're just really excited to get going and be a part of the community.
Indeed, be part of the community. That is a major part of our decision-making process. We didn't want to go to a big city. We did want to go to a place where we could actually have our neighbors be the same people that are the shop owners down the street, and that's a big part of it. So we can't wait to get to know all you better.
Yes. Thank you
Welcome.
so much. Yes, welcome to Manteo.
You've got some big shoes, to fill,
Yeah.
but I'm sure you guys will do great, and welcome to Manteo, and I'm sure this board will be helping you any way they can to make the transition a little easier for you, so.
And you have such a wonderful property. Yes, absolutely wonderful.
And I'm sure Miss BB has probably told you stories, but if you'd like, my grandmother is still living at my place, and that was Aunt Rosa's house. So she had a bridal shower there, and there are some really funny tales that go along with that property, as she knows. So congratulations on moving to Manteo. It really is going to be a fun chapter of your life, trust me. It's a wonderful town. So
Yeah.
we're so excited you're here.
Yes.
There's a lot of similar themes. She's talking about her family associated with the house. And family associated with the house. So, there's a lot of that that goes on around.
We're just happy you're here. Thank you so much. Yeah.
It's sad you're leaving, BB, but not far.
No, she's not going far.
No, she's not. We know where she lives.
Yeah, we know where you
And you'll
live.
need her, I'm sure.
All right, well, thank you so much. Anyone else want to speak, public comment? Okay.
Hi, my name is Luke Halton, and I live a few blocks over in Old Goat Town. Mayor Wickstrom, Mayor Pro Tem Selby, commissioners, neighbors, hikers have a saying, the trail provides. And I would like to say thank you for your consideration in providing the Outer Banks Trail Center in the town of Manteo. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. We're going to be looking at that, making a decision on that under new business. Yes. No, old business. Yes, under old business. Thank you. I appreciate speaking. Are there any other speakers? Anyone else would like to say anything? Okay. We will close the public comment period and we will go on to old business. All right, old business under A is the consideration of the budget for fiscal year 2024-25 and the budget ordinance, fee schedule and pay plan. We have looked at this budget so many times. Melissa, you're going to pull that up? And we also know that the public has had an opportunity to comment on this budget as we were working on it. I don't know how many times. But this is a group that has spent a lot of time studying this budget. There we go.
I do have, ahead of the meeting, I did outline a number of dates where we had discussions regarding the budget, and so I thought that it might be appropriate just to kind of go through how many times we had those interactions. So I will list them by date. So on January 17th, the board considered the budget calendar. On February the 7th, at one of your regular meetings, there was a budget public comment. On February 21st, there was another budget public comment. On March the 20th, the commissioners met for their first budget workshop. On April the 17th, the commissioners met for their second budget workshop. On May the 1st, I presented the fiscal year 2024-2025 budget to you all. At your May 15th meeting, there was a public hearing on the fiscal year 2024-2025 budget. And that gets us to today, where it is expected that you all will hold a vote on the budget that we've presented to you all.
And in addition to all of those dates, Melissa, there were a number of other sort of ad hoc or impromptu meetings with staff with questions. So this has been a really very transparent process that we've used, a deep, deep dive into what the town's finances are and how we would go forward in the next year. So Do any of you have any questions for Melissa or anything you would like to say?
I would just like to say all the hard work that most of us have put in it, but especially Mayor and Hannah and Ruth, and Betty, and I mean, we've all, I think you've got a very conservative board up here that's doing everything we can to get what we like, but also to do it responsibly and do what we can to keep our taxes the same. But this budget has been cut, I don't want to say to the bone, but it's definitely been scaled back quite a bit. There's not a lot of fluff. So, I hope if you had interest in it, had a chance to look through it. But everybody's done a great job to get it where it is. It's been a lot of hard work. So, Heather, I know we've worn you out as well, so we appreciate it.
I've received comments from the public, and those have been considered in, us creating this. So it's been a long process, but I really think we've got a good budget coming out of that. So I believe we need a motion for approval. And so I would entertain a motion. Okay, we have got a motioner, yeah. So we've got a motion to approve. Do I need to do these three different ways, three different steps, or just approve the budget? Okay.
If you think it'll pass, you can make the motion to pass as many as you want.
Mayor,
Yes.
should we discuss the fence? I mean,
That, I think there's some possible outside funding for
Okay.
that
okay.
with the tourist bureau, but we
Okay.
need to look into it, but
Yeah, and I think,
Safety issue.
right.
Right.
And I think that it would be helpful to have Melissa look at that before and give us her staff report before.
I think it might be something that we may be able to, like in some areas around the Christmas tree in different places, we bought the pre-built panels. We may be able to do that as staff, and if we can do it while the clock is ticking before the end of the fiscal year, we might be able to do that, accomplish that now. So I don't want to do it while there's construction on the boardwalk, but we can time it maybe and go ahead and procure the materials. But we'll get out there and measure and figure out what we need to do, and I'll report that back to you all.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right. So we have a motion. Is there a second to approve the 24-25 budget? We've got Michael Bassnight is the seconder. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. And that is a unanimous approval of the 2024-25 budget and the budget ordinance and the fee schedule and pay plan. We have a budget. Finally. It's all good. Okay, wonderful. The next item of business is the consideration of the police department career development plan changes. And I think we're going to turn that over to Chief Eilert.
I will tee it up for him, and he is going to take it from me. So the police department, several years ago, the board adopted a standard operating procedure manual for the police department. As part of that document, lies within it is the career development plan for the police department. That plan, as the chief became our chief, and we sit down with that SOP manual and look through things, one of the first things that we knew needed to be updated, kind of on our priority list, the first was glaring that this plan needed to be updated. And so he has worked incredibly diligently, had lots of eyeballs on this, has looked at a number of different departments and how their plans look, and this draft is what Chief Eilert has put together. I completely support it. I'm proud of the work that he's done on this. He dug right in and turned this around in a short time frame too, in order to get it to you all, so we do this along with the budget. So I will let him give you more details than I have.
Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners. town attorney, town manager. This was a very intense project for me. I've benefited from having to work on some prior career developments, but things constantly change, and this career development plan that we had in place was outdated. It needed revision. It needed an update with some classes that no longer exist with North Carolina Justice Academy and the requirements that they have and the certificates that you can obtain. And the biggest thing was we needed some succession planning within this career development phase. The old career development phase kind of did not promote longevity. So, with a small department, we could have officers stuck in a patrol position for a while. So in the pay scale, we've added some more steps within that pay scale with a police officer 3 and then master patrol officer. So now we have at least 4 steps in that patrol officer level, and we added steps in the investigator level as well. We only had 1 level in the investigator 1. Now we have investigator 2. And then we added levels at the sergeant level. We only had sergeant 1. Now we have sergeant 2. And then when it gets up into the deputy chief or administrative roles, those do not have any career development steps. You're already topped out towards the top of your salary, and you should obtain the whole plan here is succession planning, leadership development, and then the focus on autonomy, interest, and then those things that will benefit the town as a whole. So that's what I did. I went through each step. I made each step at a 240 hours max, which includes your basic, well, not really electives, but they're your required courses, and then electives come in there that focus on interests, and then those that are leadership as you move through the chain of command. So as you get promoted, there's other classes that come up. The biggest thing with my revision is the required courses in the integrated succession planning and leadership training, the addition of new classifications to allow growth within assignments and to promote longevity, and then to keep those that are already established within the town police department. We want to be able to keep people for longevity, and we want to attract local applicants to apply for open positions within the town. So those were my biggest focuses, not only to get people, but to get people that already have ties within the town and are going to stay here for their career. So that's the main thing that we focused on. I don't need to go through each step individually, but if you have questions about the plan, please feel free to ask. But that was the biggest thing for me was progression, the implementation of innovation, being progressive, and then having that succession planning in place where those after I retire can do my job and they won't have any issue in doing my job, or as they move forward, they have those things are in place. One of the other hurdles I had to jump was obviously we have the police department policy, we have the town policy, and we have the pay scale. I wanted to make sure that was implemented in all 3 steps, which I did, which requires the attainment of certificate programs for the officers as far as an advanced certificate, which Billy just got. As you get into your senior leadership, those certificates are required. So there's a certain amount of hours that they have to have in order to reach these steps, and they can't reach those steps until they have those certain certificates. So not only does it promote their interest level to attend training, it mandates them to attend training to make sure that we're being as innovative and progressive as possible. So we are going to change. Justice Academy just dropped a few more classes that they changed, which I had a last minute change I had to adjust in our career development because they eliminated a class that I did require, but it's gone to a different class that's been implemented now. That's the whole focus of this career development 3.310 career development training within the police department policy, and then the town personnel policy and the classifications along the pay scale.
Excellent. I think having a plan like this will certainly help build a depth of experienced officers for our town. So thank you so much for putting this together. And it's a commitment that the town makes also to the police officers, so I really appreciate that. Any questions for Chief Eilert?
I have a comment. When I first started on the board, my concern was that retention we didn't have. Officers coming, they were leaving our town, so I'm glad that that's the focus and that you're concerned about that. Got that implemented with your step. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very
We trained
much.
them and they were leaving.
Thank you. Let's see, do we need a motion on this? All right, we do need a motion on this, the plan changes. I would entertain a motion for approval, or I would entertain a motion of any kind. We can discuss it. Any motions?
Make a motion to approve the police career development plan changes.
We have a motioner. Do we have a seconder to that?
Second.
All right, we've got Hannah Forslund is the seconder. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And the ayes have it unanimously. Thank you for your hard work.
Thank you so much, and if you have questions about the career development policy, feel free to ask. I'm an open book when it comes to that, and trying to create some longevity here within the police department and provide the best service that we can.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Yes.
Considering the 1.6 I saw on the budget, I guess the police department is the largest. Thank you very much for what y'all do for us.
Well, and thank you for your protection. All right. The next order under old business is C, and that is the consideration of lease of property for the OBX Way. And I'm going to turn this over to Melissa, who has pulled up the lease agreement. And could you give us some background, Melissa?
Sure. So maybe 3 meetings ago, you all entertained requests for proposals for the use of the enclosed space at Magnolia. And of course, Ms. Lameau and Ms. Underwood have moved in and created a very charming space there at the pavilion. And during that meeting, also one of the respondents we had was Mr. Holton, who has the OBX Way, which is a trail guide, and he was also interested, and so it was suggested at that meeting that perhaps he consider, which he appreciated and agreed to utilize the small hut outside of Magnolia Pavilion that had previously been used by a blacksmith, and I think they sold peanuts out of it as well. So he likes that space, and we took the other lease as kind of the template and adjusted it because, and so that rate, the rate for the unit inside that is enclosed and everything is 65 cents per square foot is what the lease amount ends up being per square foot. And so I thought that since this doesn't have 4 walls and isn't completely enclosed, he can't shut it up. So we just divided that number in half to come up with a more fair rate for him. So that would be 33 cents per square foot. And we have drafted the lease to reflect that. The town attorney has reviewed it, and so that is before you all for consideration.
All right, great, thank you. That was good work on that, and that makes perfect sense how you described it. And I think, what is the monthly rent, like $29 or something? Very, very reasonable for a small space like that. Does the board have any questions for Melissa? Okay, all right. Then this one is something, this lease is something that we would have to approve. So I would entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion that we approve the OBX Way to Luke, which would extend until the October 31st deadline when that lease would end. So I put that motion on the table.
All right. You've heard the motion. Is there a second to the motion? There's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it unanimously. Congratulations. And I'm sure our visitors and residents will be very interested to see what you've got to show them in terms of trails. So thank you, Luke. All right, now on to new business. And so we've been talking about scheduling a number of public hearings. And I think we've got 4 separate public hearings. And I would like to turn this over to Melissa to give some background on how we might be scheduling these.
Okay. So these are all similar in nature, and I thought that since we had 4 items that were going to require public hearing, I did one staff report for and included all 4 topics. So the first has been delayed, not by fault of town staff or Division of Coastal Management staff, but unforeseen circumstances. But we are at a point where we need to hold a public hearing for our CAMA land use plan that was drafted back in 2022. Back then we did hold a public hearing, and we could probably make the case that that is suitable, but because the community hasn't seen it in a while, I thought that it was important to bring it back and hold the public hearing. All of the state agencies that are required to respond have responded, and we've worked with our consultants to update the draft of the plan to meet their comments. So we now have a plan that is ready to go, and as part of the process of getting this out the door is that we have to have CAMA approve our public notice, which I already went ahead and did that. So when you all set the public hearing this evening, we can go ahead and notice the public hearing beginning tomorrow. And that is the same for all of these. We're hoping that tomorrow will be the day that we get all of the documents out the door to notice these public hearings, and each of them carry different requirements. So for CAMA, the court for our land use plan is that they have to approve what we put in the paper, and they've already done that, so we're ready to go on that. The second public hearing is also good news. I previously have noted for you all that staff submitted a pre-application for a CAMA access grant to redeck the Lighthouse Pier, which I think might have been the one consistent comment that you all received in your budget public hearings. So we did get invited to submit a final application on that. That's due on August the 4th. And in order to get a head start on that application, I would like to go ahead and set that public hearing, because the public hearing is required for our final submittal. And so we have plenty of time, but I'd like to go ahead and accomplish that at your next meeting. So that is the second public hearing. And then number 3 would be a zoning text amendment for the historic residential zone, the R5, which is a follow-up from the discussion that you all had in your board comments at the last meeting. So we have been developing that. We had a long discussion about it today, I think we're ready to move forward with that. So we will publish that with the public hearing notice and circulate that around, and then as well is a zoning map amendment. So those 4 would take place at your June, my recommendation is that those 4 things could take place at your June 26th meeting, because you have an amended schedule for this month. And we would get to work on notifying landowners, the adjacent property owners, all of the things that are required by state statute and ordinance. And that gives us a nice amount of time to be able to do that.
Okay, great. Any questions for Melissa about those 4 notifications? Since we have to go through that process, it's state statute, so, all right.
What was the proposed date? June 9th?
June 26th, which
26th, yeah.
is your next meeting.
We had to change
Because of
it.
Juneteenth.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So can we just make a motion to post all 4 of these?
I think so.
Talking about dates, or are they all going to be the same date, or?
Well, they're all going to be on the same day, on June 26th.
A lot of ink in the Coastland Times.
That's right. It's also nice to accomplish this before the end of the fiscal year.
No kidding, no kidding. All right, I would entertain a motion to post all 4 of the items that we are considering. Thank you, Betty. Okay.
I was reading, I'm sorry, I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Michael. This one isn't going out on a limb, you guys. It really isn't. This is just posting in the paper notices, I promise. Nothing underhanded or weird. Okay, we have a motioner, we have a seconder, and then all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it unanimously. All right, wonderful. Well, that is all of our main business for the evening. We do have one final, well, 2 final if you consider the adjournment. The next item would be commissioner and mayor comments. I think I always start with Betty. Do you mind if I switch that up? Michael, do you have any commissioner comments this evening?
Oh, well, Ms. Beebe, congratulations. You have been an icon for as long as I can remember around this place. And if I pushed against you, they heard about it. That's right, that's right. But I have always enjoyed our time together, but I have certainly enjoyed what you've done with the old Meekins house. You've got some big shoes to fill, but it sounds like you're up for the task, and you're just going to love Manteo. Our new slogan of Meet Me in Manteo couldn't have been better timing for you, I don't think. Chief, what a fantastic job as I look at that. I know that's leadership in its finest right there that we're all looking at, because the biggest thing that you can do once you take on a new role is to be able to find someone to replace you, or prepare someone to replace you almost immediately. And you've got a plan that not only does that, but also for everyone underneath of your leadership. And that really makes us all feel safe, because retention and development is really the most admirable thing you can do for a role like yours. So thank you so much. With that, Miss Betty, I won't read next time, I promise. I'll be paying attention. Thank you so much, everybody.
All right. Eddie, do you have anything?
Michael, sorry to follow this, Mr. Speaker. Chief, thank you so much. Luke, I'm glad to see somebody from Goattown moving on up. Congratulations on your spot. Dave, Tanya, what took you so long to get here? That's my only question. And BB, I love you. I think everybody loves you, but I'm glad that you're getting to enjoy yourself and not work every day. So. Congratulations.
Todd, do you have anything to say?
I just echo their comments as well, and I just say what a fantastic Dare Day. We were blessed with such great weather Saturday and Sunday at Cartwright Park. It was a wonderful event, and good to be a part of it. Proud to be a part of Mania and bring it to the people, and I heard nothing but positive responses. So.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful weather. Hannah?
Well, for those who don't know, Vivi is my godmother, and I have amazing memories of when you were first renovating the White Doe. So it's very bittersweet to see it pass into new hands, but I had the pleasure of meeting you, Dave, and we sadly missed you, Tanya, on Monday at the park meeting. And I'm so excited for the work you're going to be doing there. It's going to be nice. As everyone has said, you have big shoes to fill, of course, but I know you're up for the task, and I know you're excited to be here. When you said about wanting to move to Manteo because it felt like home, and thank you. Thank you for choosing us, and thank you for choosing fantastic people. Dare Days was fantastic. I want to take a moment to commend the Kids Zone area. As a mom, I spent my entire day there. And not only were the workers on the rides just so cordial and wonderful, they were also funny and took an interest in all the children, and it was a very nice day.
Up next is Phoebe. I'm really glad you get to retire. Nana and Pop, we're in it for a long time, and when you finally stop folding laundry and making beds and answering the phone at all hours of the night, it is a change of pace, but I know you're going to really enjoy it, so. Good. Well, he loves you, so that's good news for him. And obviously Chief Eiler. That is such a cool program. I really enjoy what you put together. If I was an officer, I would feel like I had someone that was really looking out for my entire career path. That was really noble. So, just to change pace a little bit, the people on the Gona Street would like to perhaps get the speed machine, the speed cart. So I don't know where we could put it there, but I've heard that it hasn't been on that street in a while, and I'm guessing because it's such a skinny street. But I'm wondering if maybe we could get it there just to find out what's going on that road. Okay.
We've got, there's a couple spots where we can put it. Usually we get some permission from property owners, and they allow permission to put it there for a while.
Okay, good. Yeah, that would be bad if they rejected it.
And I've got an idea on that. It just popped in my head, yes, so we'll coordinate.
Okay. It's been brought up that when you're out there pulling weeds and some of your neighbors, that cars go by very quickly and maybe they're gonna clip Miss Sarah, so I had a call about that, and I was like, about somebody maybe clipping you, pulling weeds, and I thought, well, we don't need that.
Protect Sarah, you need one of those.
There's a lot of children that depend on you.
Lift you up out there.
Yeah, and then sidewalk legal clarity, I have that written down here. So we've talked about sidewalks a lot, and I believe we're at a point where we have board consensus that we would like for you to figure out how to guide us forward on the clarity of who's in control and or owns the sidewalks through the town. We could start, whatever the board is feeling, we could start with just one section, or we could, do it open-ended. But I want to just open that conversation. Where should we begin? Should we begin with what we've talked about with Sir Walter Raleigh? So, open it up. Yeah? Map it and then just designate phases? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Some data first.
Yeah.
Yep.
Makes sense.
So is that consensus to begin somewhere or begin with a mapping? So where should we start?
I would like to include Melissa's view on this as well, since this will incorporate time from you.
Well, if it's a map, we probably will need to get some professional services to assist us with that.
Can we map it and then break down sections that are private and public?
That would be helpful.
Yeah.
The ownership. Yeah, that makes sense. So who would,
I think the
Well,
consensus is to move forward.
Yeah.
And I think maybe the first stop is to look at the work that Josh had done last summer.
absolutely right.
Brush the dust off of that, take a look at it, because that does have a map. And maybe if we see that his data shows that there are streets where the sidewalks are in particularly bad shape and there are a number of hits, maybe that drives where the priority is, and we start with one street and see how far we can get.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Since so much work was done and a lot of his time was used, I would absolutely want to make sure that we start with what we already have.
Yes, and the lovely thing is he just got back last week, so we have him again, and maybe this is step number 2 in his sidewalk project.
Yeah, right.
But we can certainly, I'm certain that those pinpoints that he put where there are the issues, we can sort by street name and identify if there's a street that has the most, and then I'll bring that back to you all. We'll analyze the data some and bring it back to you all and say, this appears to be maybe the worst and maybe the best place to start.
Yeah, and then the possibility of a plan for how to move forward with that.
Sure,
What
and I
comes
can,
next?
in the
What
meantime,
next?
once we determine what that is, seek council's advice on.
Yeah, because I think we're all in agreement that sidewalks matter. And, we're just trying to figure it out. But you're key to this, Melissa. So,
Great.
I know, one more thing.
Well, it's a citizen priority, so it's it's at the top of our list.
Yes.
People bring it up constantly. And then to add to that, we have got to talk to Dominion to fix the 2 poles that they did not restore the sidewalk to its original state on. That's just a simple fix. And I can't help but feel a little anger, a little upset that they just completely left those 2 poles naked when the sidewalk is obviously a certain type of style around it. So I don't know how we proceed. I don't know how, what the board thinks about how we should contact Dominion, but I believe we need to let
I can
them.
handle that.
You can, okay. Because they need to restore those sidewalks.
And
The ones on Sir Walter Raleigh, the ones that have the concrete around them and the gravel, that's Sir Walter Raleigh, there's 2 there. Are they
There's 2 on Buckley.
Why have they done that? Okay, we need to talk to them. So do we have consensus to talk?
Well, Melissa will do
She
it.
has a contact.
Yeah, I just want to make
That's
sure
Melissa's
we have
role.
consensus
Yeah.
to let her know to do that.
Yep.
Okay. All right, well then, yay for Dominion fixing our poles. And that's all. That's all I have.
I wanted to comment everything, congratulations. BB, I have you on speed dial. Also wanted to show appreciation I really appreciate for Public Works. Public Works has worked this weekend. They started with their days early in the morning and worked till probably after midnight and right back up for Cartwright Park. Those guys, Frankie and his team, it's just awesome. Their dedication and loyalty to the town of Manteo. Certainly I wanted to recognize tonight.
Yeah, thank you for saying that.
Mayor, could I say one quick thing that I should have said?
Sure.
So Betty kind of headed up the Sunday Dare Day gospel, and I want to tell you, everybody did a great job, but there's one person that stood out. And I don't know if we have that on video, but Commissioner Stetson also has the name should be Pastor, because she was on fire, and I'm telling you, she drew a emotional tear to me just listen to it. But I'm telling you, if we have that on video, it is worth watching.
Very nice.
Because she did a fantastic job, and well, she was on fire. So
Nice.
Thank you, brother.
Well, and the same appreciation goes to Michelle too. She was right in there too, and thank you, Michelle. Melissa, you too. But Michelle was there both days, so it's just awesome to see how the team works together.
Yeah.
As I had made a comment about Melissa and Michelle and the rest of the team, as you go through Dare Days, there's not one thing that doesn't take a phone call, as an email, a coordination, whether it's a porta potty or whether it's a water station or whether it's all the vendors, and to plan an event like that and execute without any issues, really. I think there was a teenager who got in trouble for jumping off the bridge when his mom didn't want him to, but that's about it.
And that's tradition.
Fantastic. Congratulations all the way around.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
You heard about that. Now you gotta jump off the bridge.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Thank you all for your comments. I do have a couple of comments myself, and I don't want to scare Dave and Tanya, but I had been here 1 month, back in 2018, 1 month, and the first thing I got to do with the town was to work with BB on, was it the 20-year plan, the wayfinding and all of that? Yeah. And it was great. BB, I love you too. I love you too. Yeah, but it doesn't take long to jump in, no matter whether it's off the bridge or whether it's in here. It really doesn't take long. And it's worth every single minute of it. It truly, truly is. So also, I wanted to say, Chief, great professionalism. Oh, what a great decision we made. So we're taking credit for you. We're just taking credit for you. But thank you, really. You're just, can't imagine a better person in your role. And then one other thing I did want to mention is that, so this is kind of a completely different topic, but I just wanted to let everyone know that June 1st, as you know, begins hurricane season, and the town, the staff, and myself, we have been working a lot on training in the Emergency Management Center, which is a state-of-the-art facility off of Airport Road. So we have done some training recently with them, and of course we have Kevin Zork, he's got a master's degree, I think, in emergency management. Could we even have a better group of folks assembled to help us get through emergencies? So we met with them, had a tour of that, learned about, sort of what the plan and process is when there is an emergency, and not just a weather emergency, like the sort of the things you don't even want to think about emergencies, but you have to. Next week, we have got something really interesting. It's another whole training area, or a training program that was actually funded by the federal government to hire this specialist to come, and it's a series of 3 days. So the training starts with sort of the senior leaders, all the mayors from the municipalities on the Outer Banks come together. So that's the first part of the training. And they put you through these exercises that are, they focus on decision making, and they're like functional exercises so that they create a muscle memory in, what you need to be doing. So, and then the second day is the support group of the decision-making group. And then the third is the recovery, to include drills that practice damage assessment, debris plan, and a myriad of other things that might be necessary. And so this training is done on this crisis track and web EOC, but I'm really looking forward to it because preparation is key to handling these potential emergencies, with great skill and trying to get all the bases covered. And I'm sure you've heard, we'll see if it's true, that this seems to be an above normal hurricane season stacking up in the Atlantic. Welcome to the coast. But anyway, so we're just trying to do, we're trying to be prepared. That's what I'm trying to say. And we've got a wonderful facility and great staff to help us through anything that might come our way. So that's what I had to say. I would look for anyone who may want to adjourn the meeting. We need a motion.
I'd make a motion that we adjourn until the June 29th. 26, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I had it written down somewhere. The June 26th meeting at 6 o'clock.
Great. So that's a recess.
Recess.
Yes. And is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we've got a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned. Or recess.